Well, hello, and welcome to the part 2 of this Brutalist modern home, which, believe it or not, is the last part for it. This is a bit of a shorter build, as it's not 3 parts like I usually have. I was actually looking back, and considering that I only have, I think, 2 builds that were ever a 2-part, this being the 3rd, it's kind of weird because it's either like a single part or a entire 3-part series, which I want to get better at that this year to provide more smaller builds, but not like tiny builds. Just like a good medium size, to where it's not going to take forever to recreate it, but it's still detailed and of my usual standard. I have been working on another smaller build, which it's not small. By small, I don't mean cheap. It's, I think, 120,000 already, and I haven't done barely anything to the landscaping or the interior. So it'll probably be expensive. I've kind of wanted to prove like the worth of the basement game pass this year, which, showing what I did with it for the Craftsman family home. I'm doing something similar to that for the backyard this time, but this is only going to be a 1-floor house, so it'll only use basement and advanced placing, which personally I think that advanced placement is the best game pass, and I feel like a lot of people would put multiple floors right after that in terms of building, but honestly basement is still really good considering that it's cheaper than multiple floors, and you can still like have another floor to your house. So I'm doing a house with that to kind of show that, hey, this is what you could do with the basement game pass. But enough talking about that. I feel like I should talk about this house some more, since I didn't really do that in the last voiceover. I kind of went back and listened to that voiceover, and I'm embarrassed by it. It's not of the quality that I would want to do, so granted I recorded it at like 12:30 in the morning, but I'm better this time recording it at 10:30, because I don't have to sit editing an entire cinematic preview. I just put the footage in, and I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I could go in and do minor editing, just like cut out little parts of where I'd be like sitting there for a while, where I would like get up to go do something and come back real quick. But the more I've been watching this, doing the voiceovers, I'm like, I don't really do that much. If so, it's only like a second in like the sped up time. So I'm like, is it worth it to cut it out? I don't know. But with this house, what I've been doing this year is, well, I've only done 2 houses, this being the second, is kind of revisiting older builds and do like a nicer version of it. So the previous house was of the traditional family home. This is kind of the nicer version of the minimalist modern home. Which, there are some issues with that build. We're not going to talk about me pressing the wrong thing with editing and losing half the footage. But I have re-uploaded it, and it is in an unlisted video, which is linked in the description of that. So if you want to rebuild that house, you can now, because, well, the footage is back. As you can see here, I'm working on this guest bedroom, which I wanted the back wall behind this to be kind of a feature wall, which is why I did the custom shapes to make this kind of like paneled wall. A lot of these bedrooms I was recreating pictures of bedrooms on Pinterest, which, all things modern, like the kitchen was inspired from Pinterest, the living room was inspired from Pinterest, all of the bedrooms, the laundry room, the bathrooms. This was basically just a Pinterest modern house. I could have titled this house that if I wanted to, but I'm like, I've kind of been wanting to do a quote-unquote brutalist house, this is not really Brutalist. I mean, it kind of is, but I'll just let you decide. If you think it's Brutalist, yay. If you don't, I can see why. If you're going to rebuild this, don't do this floating bed that I'm working on here, because I just scrap it to go with regular beds. Because trying to fit the sleeping bags in it to do like a custom mattress, it wasn't worth it, and I just gave up on it. This bedroom was kind of small, and originally when I first was making it, I was gonna make it an office, because it just had two like little windows that were open to trees. But then when I redid the backyard to have the whole pool, I'm like, this needs to be a bedroom. I was very inspired by Jackitecture's Tulum Modern Villa from back in August, I think, or it may have been, I think it was late July, which that was more of a tropical build, and this is just kind of a generic, like, not really summer, but not really, it's just a generic build. In terms of season, it's not really specific to anything, even though it was winter when I built this. We finally got the snow gone, which is kind of sad, but I guess I could always bring it back if I wanted to, because with the neighborhoods you can change the weather. With this bedroom, as I was saying before, it's kind of small, but I wanted to make the most out of the space, and I'm thinking this would be a good guest room, because it has its own bathroom attached, it's on the main floor, so it's kind of away from the private space. So I was thinking, okay, maybe do like a quote-unquote queen bed for this, which my version of a queen bed is just two beds that are kind of clipping inside of each other like this, to where I think it's like a 1.5, or no, I think it may be exactly 2 wide, or no, it's 1.5, yeah, it's 1.5, that's what I thought, and then I'm like, I don't know, but with this, I did like the floating, or the quote-unquote floating shelf behind it for the nightstand. I did the pendant lights hanging down for instead of just doing lamps. I did the bed for this bedroom, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know what else to do, so I kind of just put a closet over in the corner, and then there's the door to the bathroom, so. But it's a guest room. You don't need to have all these decorations in it. Like a couple ottomans and like a little table, which I added that, and I'm like, this would be a nice little place to stay if coming to visit. That's all I really have to say for this bedroom. It's just a guest room. It's nothing special. So the new Bloxburg update, which came out a few days ago, so I'm kind of late to it, but I'm not gonna make a new video on it because it wasn't really a big thing, and that's not really what I do on this channel, so figured I'd just talk about it in the voiceover. It is actually pretty good, all things considering. I'm very excited to use the new sectional couches, which sectionals aren't new in the game. We just finally have more than the wicker one, which I've already kind of used it to death. If you're tired of it, sorry. I probably will use it in my next builds because it just looks so good. But we did get a new, like a leather recliner sectional, and when I saw that, I'm like, this is the exact couch that's in my living room. What the heck? And so I literally just recreated the couch in my living room on my work plot. I deleted it because I was broke. Considering how expensive my houses are that I make, you would think that I have a lot of money in Bloxburg, but I really don't. Because I'm lazy and I don't like to work. And I spend all my money on houses like this that shouldn't cost $500,000 but do. So yeah, I was working on the house I mentioned earlier with the basement just a few minutes ago before I started to record this, and I stopped because I got down to literally $3. $3 whole. I didn't add door frames, so I couldn't really see what it looked like on the inside. So I went into build mode, deleted a window to add a door frame, looked through on the free cam, and then undo everything so it would go back to where it was, and I wouldn't have to re-buy the window. I find that kind of funny, because instead of just going to work to deliver a pizza or two so I could place a door frame, no, I'm just like, I can delete the window. I feel like that's just kind of a representation of me in terms of working. I used to, every time I would want to build a new house, I would delete an old one, and then work for a bit, maybe have like 50,000 and then delete an old house, and then work for the remainder. But I don't really do that now because my builds are getting better and better, and I want to delete them less and less. So I mean, I still have, I think my oldest build is the traditional family home that I still have. I have it, I have the modern mansion from October, because I spent 2 months on that thing for some reason. I have a work plot, the Chick-fil-A that I've been working on since early January. I would say that it's coming soon, but honestly, I have no idea when I'm going to finish that thing. I have no motivation as of now to work on it, and I know that some of you are looking forward to it, but it's probably not going to be anytime soon. It'll maybe be, or I'm just not going to say because I have no idea when I'll be able to finish that. Yeah. But back to the build, because that's what I'm supposed to be talking about. It's a voiceover for the build, and I just end up talking about random things. I'm gonna apologize now if it's kind of quiet, because I'm still trying to figure out the best, like, volume for the voiceover in comparison to the music, and with headphones, I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna sound. So the past few times have sounded kind of quiet, so, well, I'm trying to talk louder without being too loud, and I'll try to boost the volume more, but I do apologize for being quiet in the past. I'm just a quiet person. I'm not very loud, so when I'm sitting away from my computer and the microphone isn't, I mean, I don't have a top of the line microphone, it's just the one on my computer, which, I mean, it's not terrible. It gets the job done. I'm working on this little office area at the top of the stairs, because honestly, I had no idea what to do with this space. In the house that I based this off of, it was an office space, but it looked kind of different. I just said, you know what, every house needs some type of little area for you to have a computer, so I figured this would be a good spot for it. A lot of this house is copy and paste, which, I'm sorry, it's kind of boring, but am I really gonna spend the time to make something entirely different for the second guest bedroom? Like, no, I'll just copy the one I made 3 minutes before. So it does kind of look, they do look similar for the bedrooms, but it's okay. We're all lazy at some point. We can make exceptions. And I just don't like decorating guest bedrooms. Which, this house, I'm thinking, okay, a lot of my houses, I'm thinking it's gotta work for a lot of things. So whether you just want a house with a lot of bedrooms, if you roleplay and you want to have, like, kids' bedrooms, I'm like, okay, so this house has got 3 other bedrooms. So that's a pretty decent amount. But the bedrooms aren't, like, so tailor-made to be kids' bedrooms that it wouldn't just work with a, like, roommates scenario. That's why in a lot of my homes that I make, all of the bedrooms are just kind of generic, because it just works for everything. Unless I do like, if I make like a specific family home, quote unquote, then I'll do like the toddler room, the teen room, the kid room, the parent room, the guest room. With the pillows, I think this is how I'm going to do it now. I will use Transform Plus for them, but that will be the only thing, because pillows you can transform without the Game Pass. I just use it because I'm lazy and I don't want to go through all of the hard work to not use the Game Pass, which if you don't have it you can still use it, you'll just have to place them a bit closer. Maybe you may have to use the floating item sack with the carpets. But it's, I mean, I don't know. I'm just blinking. I find that I do this a lot, where I'll have something in my brain and then I go to put it to words and it just doesn't happen. Which would be okay if English was my second language, but it's not. I could sit here and talk for hours about how awful English is. It's literally the worst. There's so much that doesn't make sense, and it's kind of like the half laugh, half cry whenever I see the memes that are like, Asians proficient in 3 or more languages, Europeans proficient in 2 languages, English, or Americans not able to master the English language. And it's sad, but it's kind of true, because, well, English is just hard. Some people are really good at it, like my sister. She great, and that's just like with writing as well. Just like, she's a great writer. She does great work. Me on the other hand, I mean, I'm okay at it, but y'all didn't come here to listen to me complain about how literally all of my essays, it'll just be like, this is correct because this is why, and that makes sense because yes. No, not gonna talk about that. My bad attempts at trying to be funny, it's kind of pathetic. But I'm working on the master bedroom, so I finally have an interesting room to talk about. I did use the decals again, which I couldn't figure out where to place them, because I was like, I could put them up here, and then I'm like, no, I'll just put them behind the, like on the main wall, because it provides another source of like little accent. I want to do this big shelf behind the bed with a bunch of different clutter pieces. I did the hanging lamps again for the lights. I wanted this to be like an oasis type room. Not literally, but just like on all of those HGTV shows when they're like, we want our master bedroom to be an oasis in a spa-like bathroom. I was kind of going for that, but in reality I was just copying this one picture from Pinterest. Because let's be honest, that was me on the whole house. For those of you that think I am a detailed builder, okay, makes sense, because considering like the average builder, my stuff, how I built is a bit more detailed than that. But all things considering, I personally don't consider myself a detailed builder. I would say I'm a realistic builder, but not detailed. Because detailing to me is like using pieces that you wouldn't normally think to use to make the space look more realistic than it actually is. I kind of have more of a minimalist style. That's kind of a mix of me not knowing what to do to decorate and just being lazy. But, yeah, I kind of consider there's like, I guess 3 tiers. I thought of this a while back, so if I don't remember it correctly, then that's why. There's kind of 3 tiers of building. You've got like your bottom level, which is kind of like the largest one. You've got everything from like you're just starting out to building, to at the top of that is like picture, just kind of like the the generic Bloxburg house from like 2018, 2019. Like, not too detailed, maybe detailed for the time, but just a lot of the quote-unquote aesthetic homes, some of them, not all of them. Oops, just knocked over my water bottle. But just kind of a basic level of detailing. You're not really going above and beyond to make the space look detailed, just kind of doing the bare minimum. And you can definitely tell that it's in Roblox. Then above that, like the second tier, this is kind of like the semi-detailed, where using basic, or like minor uses of structurals and basic shapes to make a few custom pieces here and there, to where it's like, okay, this looks realistic, it looks very nice. Still can tell, like, okay, this looks realistic, but I can tell that this is in Roblox still. And then you have the top where it's like, hold up, you made this in Bloxburg? This is a real life photo. That is not real. Which I will always be in awe by people that can build that detailed. It's something that I am not capable of. I've been pushing myself to be more detailed, and it's not going too well. I mean, this house is kind of like that. Me trying to make more detailed homes. I kind of consider myself in between the top two. Like, I'm trying to make it detailed, it's almost there, but not quite. Let me know in the comments below if you would agree with that. I do have a little bit of time left, so I'm not going to talk too much longer. I made that mistake in the third part of the Craftsman family home, where I talked up into like the last second and a half, or something like that, to where literally I'm rushing through the outro rushing through like my final regards, just because I'm like, okay, this is about to end, I gotta wrap this up. Which I won't make that mistake this time. All I have to do is the bathroom, and then I believe the second bedroom next door. Yeah. Which, the bathroom, big surprise, was recreated from Pinterest. I've had a lot of these pictures for a while, because honestly, I've been wanting to make a modern house ever since last October-ish. I finished up the modern mansion, and then I'm like, okay, I want to do a darker modern house. And then I just haven't had the right exterior to go with it. Which, could I come up with my own design for the exterior? Yes. Am I gonna do it? No, because I'm lazy. And because it'll probably not look as good as if I'm actually trying to recreate a certain picture. Yeah. This house is almost done. It's definitely been one of my favorites that I've done. And it's done considerably well, so, which I don't consider my favorites based on like how good the video does, but it definitely helps in making me like it better. Let me know if you would like to see more homes like this with more of this dark modern style. If not, if you've watched to this far, I don't care if you've commented already, if this is your second, third comment, I don't care. I would say, like, comment what your favorite, like, style is, but I think I did that last time. Comment what your least favorite style is. If you commented already, like I said before, just make another one. It helps the channel out. But that is all I will say. Thank you for listening to this voiceover. I hope it was better than my previous ones, because I kind of need to get better at that. But enough listening to my annoying voice talk. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.